Why hello you amazing beautiful people, how are you doing, and welcome back to another Kendrick Lamar reaction video. Well, technically a Josh Johnson reaction video. So recently we did a reaction to Kendrick Lamar's pop-out concert, the Not Like Us finale of that concert, and my word, it got emotional. The entire show was literally like one big family coming together. It was a family freaking reunion. It had so much heart and so much love, and all of that centered around a diss track. Honestly, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It melted my whole damn soul. It was beautiful to witness, and it's crazy describing a diss track performance as beautiful, but it really was. And one of the most upvoted comments on that video was you guys telling me to react to Kendrick's Concert Explained to Canadians by Josh Johnson. Apparently this is going to go into depth around the concert. Everyone's pretty much told me that this would make a really good follow-on video after the pop-out concert reaction, so that's what we're gonna do today. We are then gonna start Good Kid, Mad City, unless you guys have something else you want me to do a reaction to before we jump into those album reactions. Let me know in the comment section down below. We'll have to split up the album reaction, so let me know what the best way to do that would be as well. Put all your recommendations down below. I'll read the comments, I'll see whichever one is the most liked and upvoted. Please make sure you guys subscribe as well. If you subscribe before you leave a comment, it boosts your comment, makes it easier for me to see too. And if you like these reactions, please press that like button. Shout out Josh Johnson, link to his channels in the description, and enough of my talking. Let's jump into my first time ever reaction to the Kendrick Concert Explained to Canadians.
So I want you guys to get loud and proud for your headliner, Josh Johnson!
So are these like Josh Johnson's like stand-up comic shows or something like that? Because they just
Sometimes
seem like stories.
you hear things that stick with you forever, right? Like one of the things that I heard in school was it was one Newton's laws. It's an equal but opposite reaction, right? And it's like a law of physics, but it's also a law of people to a certain degree.
Like, what is this? Like, what is this? Does he like travel the world doing shows like this? Is there no set to them? Like, is it all different? Is it stand-up comedy, or is it like storytelling? Like, and does he always do it differently, or is there like some sort of formula to it? Like, what am I watching here? You know, I've never seen anything like this.
Except we don't agree on what equal is.
It's just someone having a...
Do you know what I mean? Like if somebody does you dirty and then you want revenge, whenever you feel satisfied, your friends, your family might look at you like you crazy. Like you like, oh, you didn't have to do all that, right?
Yeah, it's just
You know
like
what I
he
mean?
just
Your friends and family might even tell you, hey, stop, you got him. you got him, I swear you got him, right? And you're like, no, it's not enough. Like, because you locked in, right? You locked into revenge. Maybe, look, also because of how the world works and because of how we're all entering and exiting each other's lives, sometimes you make somebody pay for the sins of other people. Sometimes they did you dirty, but they didn't do all of it. That's not their whole fault. Like you clearly let out some demons on somebody else. You especially know you're doing it if you accidentally call them the wrong name. You know what I mean? You know, like you get your last day at work, you quitting.
This is actually really funny because it's true. If you're having a really bad day and you're really pissed off, sometimes you might explode at the wrong person, you know? Excuse me, sorry, we're all out of that coffee. You wanted, you know, like that could happen. That could happen, and yeah, it's not really warranted, but you were having a bad day.
Quitting this job and they ain't done you dirty too many times, and you're sick of it, right? And then at the last second, when you cursing your boss out and you telling him where he can shove it, and you can tell him how he treated you and how he no longer has any power over you.
I wish I did this when I quit my job.
Go right to hell, and then you accidentally say, "Dad."
Oh my God! Oh my God!
And then both y'all have to sit with that for a second, like. Now the exit interview is awkward, right? Because you were on a roll. You had that whole speech prepared. That dad thing came out of nowhere, right? It was okay. There was this one time when I was living in Chicago that I was near Wrigleyville. And Wrigleyville, if you don't know, that's where the Cubs play, and it's like the ratchet bar bro-y type part of Chicago, right? So there's.
I really wish that when I quit my job, I told them to fuck off. My old job was just just the absolute worst soul-sucking place in the world. I worked with I won't go into this too long because Josh telling the story. I'll rewind as well. But when I started, there were 3 other people in my department. All 3 of them left, including my boss, and they gave me all of their work. They just absorbed all of their work into my role. Then, after months of asking for a replacement, someone to help me, I then asked for a raise. They said no. I then asked for a new position. They said no. And then the person, one of the people who quit, who I absorbed their role, who was in a higher position than me, getting paid way more than me, and I was now doing their work for 6 months, they were looking for a replacement for them. So I then said, I'm doing their work. Why can't I just be the replacement? And then it would have given me a pay increase. And they said no and hired someone from the outside instead. And that I worked at that company for nearly 4 years. And that was my first 6 months there. I should have seen the signs, but I needed the money. And that was my experience for pretty much the entire time there. It was awful. I got made redundant at one point. The company tried to remove me, but then someone who was higher up liked me and managed to get me a new role. And then that person left, and then I was literally just shit on the entire time I was there. And then when I finally left on my last day, I finished all of my work early. I got everything done. I had nothing to do. And my regional manager wanted me to still stay until the end of my shift and just sit there. And I literally said to him, I was like, I've got nothing to do. Everything's done. And he was like, yeah, but you're supposed to be here till this time, so you should stay here. And I'm not even joking. I said, nah, man. I was like, I'm not staying. I was like, it's my last day. I'm leaving. He was like, you really gonna do this? He's like, this is really like I can't remember the word, like unprofessional. And I was like, yeah, I've done all my work. It's my last day at this company. I was like, it's been a pleasure working with you. I shook his hand. He looked super pissed off, and I just walked out. I didn't say goodbye to anyone. Fuck that place, man. Treated me like shit. I wish I said that on my way out. Fuck all of you. Suck my balls. But nope. I left the building like a good little worker.
Was near Wrigleyville.
I regret it.
And Wrigleyville, if you don't know, that's where the Cubs play. And it's like the ratchet bar broy type part of Chicago, right? So there's a lot of fights for no reason. There's a lot of like catcalling. There's just so much chaos happening. And it's all stuff that is like it doesn't phase you as much when you're like in your early 20s, right? You're just like, oh, I'm out where the party is. And I think if you go back there at like 30, you'll be like, ooh. Everyone here should call their mom. Everybody here. You know? But while I was out there,
when you're young, you look at things differently when you're old.
There was this guy that was walking and he was drunk. He had that like...
How is this anything to do with Kendrick, by the way? This is hilarious. Just a stand-up comedy show.
I've never seen anybody walk like this. Like, he really was walking like his feet couldn't find the ground. And it's always going to be there. It's always, every time. But he was like,
Also, Josh Johnson has such, like, a deadpan expression that makes everything he says even funnier.
And I couldn't believe he wasn't falling. He was staying upright and everything. And this guy was passing. And this guy was passing with his girlfriend. And the drunk guy, as they pass him, he clocks the girlfriend. And he just casually, like, spins on a heel and slaps her ass, right?
Oh.
Yeah, so she notices.
She notices. I would guess she notices. I feel like that part's not necessary to explain. He just punched this guy in the face, so he knew he'd been punched in the face, slapped her ass. So she noticed. That is amazing. Look at his deadpan expression as well. He never changes.
She very much notices, and it's crazy. Almost all this could have been prevented because he's so off his balance that he almost missed, right? He almost had a very different night. And so basically he slaps her ass and then she turns around then her boyfriend turns around. Now he has not withdrawn his hand fast enough for the boyfriend to not know what just happened, right? So then he turns around and this guy is like...
Oh no.
The drunk guy is bigger than the guy whose girlfriend just got her ass slapped. So even
I don't think alcohol really matters though at that point. I remember one guy who accidentally spilled a beer on someone when I went out clubbing in Brighton years and years ago. This is a long time ago. And yeah, it's amazing how quickly situations escalate when someone is just being drunk and stupid. Oh, Jesus.
You know, that dude goes like toe to toe with him in the next moment. I was still worried about the little guy because the little guy was little, right? And even in his drunken state, he's still like aware enough to know he was big enough to be an asshole, right? Because instead of apologizing or anything like that, he's like, "What you gonna do, little man? What you gonna do?" Right? And he didn't say it like that. He was like, "What's he gonna do, little man? What you gonna do, little man? What you gonna do,
no.
man?
This is a guy that probably sucks when he's sober as well.
Ain't nobody. What you gonna do, little man?" And
he's going down, this guy.
Little dude wasn't little for long. Because he popped that dude square in the mouth. And then big dude finally found the ground, right? And I had never seen this before in real life. But little dude didn't just fight him. He started doing actual wrestling moves on the street, right? This man, girlfriend been stepped out of the way, and this man goes. This man.
You can't do this. You can't do this. Is this all supposed to be a metaphor? You know, like I'm wondering if all of this is supposed to be a metaphor. Everything we're hearing right now, from someone like taking it too far to like the bigger guy or whatever, like is this all supposed to be like metaphoric, like for like career or something like that? Is that what this is supposed to be? I don't know. Because we're 6.5 minutes into this. At no point has the word Kendrick come out of Josh's mouth. So I'm wondering if this is the explanation here. I do have to say, once someone's on the ground, that's when you walk away. You don't hit someone when they're down, especially a drunk person. Unless this person has done something absolutely diabolically disgusting. You've punched a drunk guy in the face. He has fallen flat on his ass. Just walk away. That's it. Game over. It doesn't matter. Elbowing a guy when he's down.
This dude was going off, right? And it got to the point where even as a bystander, I was like, I think you got him. I think you got him. Because the big dude is not getting up at a certain point. He tried to get up the first time, and him trying to get up was hilarious because, let me see if I can do it.
I love that Josh is like genuinely remembering this because he's like, he tried to get up. Ha ha ha. Let me tell you how he tried to get up.
So he over here like this, right? It. So he on the ground.
What the fuck is this?
He tries to like, because he's so drunk, he doesn't know he on the ground, so he tries to walk up. This man tried to walk up while he was getting hit. He was getting hit in his face, and he was like, what is stopping me? It's crazy. What's happening?
Oh, my God.
And then he really tries to, like, walk up, and then he finds the ground with his hand, and then he goes, "You gonna stop hitting me in my damn face?" And then when he said that, the dude uppercut him, and he went flat back down, right? And then...
For fuck's sake.
Then the beating did turn a little bit too much into dancing, right? Like, then the beating, because then he started to do stuff that was not even wrestling moves anymore. He was just like, pow.
There's no way this isn't a metaphor. There's no way. This has to be, right? Is this literally like, there's no way. The video is titled Kendrick Concert Explained to Canadians. Okay? That's the title of it. We're 8 minutes in! Bro has not mentioned Drake, Kendrick, nothing. Nothing. What concert is he fucking talking about? What the hell? What is this? He lied to me. This is the wrong video, man. What the fuck? Like, this has to be a metaphor. We're nearly halfway through the fucking video. This has to be. This has to be Drake picking a fight and Kendrick finishing the fight. This has to be it. Right? Now there's dancing. Not like us. Come on, man. It's gotta be. It's gotta be.
To the point where even his girl was like, hey, you got him. But you could tell, you could see it on his face that something deeper was bothering him than just this moment, right? Because if you're not, and I'm speaking on the behalf of men who are not big, right? If you are not a big man, you've probably been punked a couple times in your life, right? Or at least someone tried to punk you because they didn't know they shouldn't try you, right? And so then that stuff starts to well up, and then out of nowhere, you finally have a righteous opportunity to exercise.
I had a friend in school. He was a very short guy. I'm pretty sure he was something like a black belt in judo or something like that. The amount of times people picked a fight with this guy. And he was such a nice dude. It was always, literally, he was like one of the toughest guys in our whole group. And everyone would go for him because he was the shortest guy. And all of us would be like, out of all the people you could have picked, you picked him? Go for it. Good luck. Having all the time. Anyone have a friend like that?
And then out of nowhere, you finally have a righteous opportunity to exercise all of that anger, so then you let loose. And when you don't stop, people are like, damn.
Yeah, because people don't understand. People don't know.
And I said
they don't know.
Because that's the best way I can illustrate what happened between Kendrick and Drake.
I knew it! I fucking knew it! I knew this was too weird, man. We're 9 minutes in. It took him 9 fucking minutes in a 21-minute long video to say Kendrick and Drake. I knew it was a fucking metaphor. At this point, I was literally like, there's no way. Like, this is too close to the story we know. There's no way, man. There's no way. Honestly, I fucking love that. That is so genius. That is genius. I love how he did that. That is amazing. Oh man, I was losing my mind. I was like, what the fuck? If I clicked on the wrong video, sometimes on YouTube, you click on a video and then you click on another video and the title doesn't change. Have you ever had that glitch? Sometimes I had that with the comments, where like the comments on a video I'm watching are the comments from the previous video and it will totally throw me off. I honestly thought that's what happened. I was like, man, I've just recorded 15 minutes of a reaction I'm not even gonna be able to use because it's the wrong video. Finally. Finally. Shit, well.
Because Drake makes his little like club beats and he does his little, and he's a good rapper, don't get me wrong, he's a good rapper, but he makes his little like get drunk to this type songs, dance and everything. And then he was calling out Whitney, Kendrick's wife, because that's what he likes to do. He likes to attack rappers by their wife. If you look through his catalog, he does it every time. And then Kendrick said, okay.
Oh my
I
word.
promise you, nothing but sweet chin music. I'm ready.
Sweet chin music, nice.
Right?
There's some heartbreak in there.
Because I think in order to understand, I really don't think people get it. In order to understand how important and powerful that pop-out concert was.
By the way, I just want to say, if you are the kind of person who brings in other people, this is like, I always say, people who lose an argument immediately are the hypotheticals. Like the hypothetical scenarios, right? And recently I put a tweet out where, like, because someone put a tweet out basically saying that, like, they think that getting parenting advice is, like, better when you talk to people who aren't parents. And as a parent myself, I was like, that's just stupid. I was like, and then, so I was like, so I made a joke saying, like, well, if I wanted plumbing advice, I'd go to a plumber. If I wanted, like, advice on my car, I'd go to a mechanic. It's like, if you want parenting advice, you should go to a parent. And then I literally had people, like, replying to my comments going, what about when you have these people who live in these, like, broken down houses with 20 kids and no money and are, like, claiming from the government and all this sort of stuff. And I was literally like, that's a hypothetical situation you have created to make it that you are in the right. You know, if you put the best and the best next to each other, you should always get advice from the person you want to know about that situation. If I was about to be a parent, I wouldn't give a fuck about advice from people who aren't parents. Because, like, they're not going to know. Like, oh, what am I going to do when the baby wakes up in the night? What about if the baby makes this noise? What about that? They ain't going to fucking know. What do you mean? But, of course, people create these hypothetical situations to, like, let them win these arguments, right? so they can win these arguments. And in this is something you'll notice, right? And if you ever have an argument with anybody and you say something and you're grounded in like facts and evidence and you say something and their reply is a hypothetical, you know, well, what if there's like 20 of them and this sort of thing, then what, huh? And that's how they reply, they've lost. That you're arguing with an idiot. They've lost because they've just created a situation to make them win. That it makes no sense. And you just say, well, that's a hypothetical. Why didn't you give me some actual facts? Like that you've just made up a situation. You know, arguing hypotheticals with hypotheticals is pointless. It's an empty argument. You've already won the argument when someone replies with you like that. I just want you guys to know that because literally every reply to my comment was hypothetical arguments, not one person arguing facts. Everyone changing it to suit their own situation. And I was just there like, this is all stupid. You're all giving me the worst examples of parents, you know? What about a parent who like hasn't seen their kids in 10 years? Yeah, what about then Luke, huh? And it's like, well, yeah, that would be a bad example. You win. Well done. Congratulations. And the reason I'm saying this is because I wanted to highlight the Drake thing. I went off a bit of a tangent there. If you're someone who, when you're arguing with someone and you've got beef with someone and you bring up their friends or their family or their partner, in my opinion, you've already lost. You've already lost because the issue was never with them to begin with. So why are they even involved?
Understand how important and powerful that pop.
Which I just want to say, Kendrick literally said in his freaking songs. What are you doing? This is between us.
People get it. In order to understand how important and powerful that pop-out concert was, you have to understand Nipsey Hussle. Okay? Nipsey Hussle was a rapper that a lot of people, at least as many people as I think should know, don't know. But what is one of the most important things about Nipsey Hussle and what he would probably want you to know about him and remember about him, besides the fact that he's a phenomenal artist, is that he spent his time, his money, his attention, and all of his intention in improving the lives of the people that grew up around him, improving his community. Okay?
Right.
This dude...
Already love the guy. Already love the guy.
This dude would pay for shoes for kids in elementary school that didn't have them. He would get repaved basketball courts that were in disarray, right? He would pay and help raise funds for funerals of victims and their families of gun violence, right? And this is all in his neighborhood. So the same way that people come up, he tried to bring everybody with him. That was his mission. He made it his mission because
I always say this is like the best thing ever as well, because there's so many people in the entertainment industry, in the creator space, who climb up this ladder, who struggle to make it, and then bring the ladder up behind them. You know, where they could help so many people grow and improve so many people's lives. They get jealous and they get angry and they don't want anyone touching their shit. So they bring that ladder up behind them and they refuse to help anyone else climb up. They know the path. They have the map. They just did it themselves. And much like the opening of Lord of the Rings, toss the ring into the fire. No. You know, and there's too many people like that, sadly. This Nipsey Hussle, this is my first time ever hearing his name. Already love the sound of this guy.
Because, yes, he was a great artist and he was getting on and everything, but you just getting out is not enough, right? Sometimes people make it out and then people don't, how do I put this? It's not enough if you just make it out. You want to bring people with you. Imagine you're in a burning building and so is your whole family. What credit is it to you? What does it really say about you if just you make it out? It means you ran out and you left everybody else. And Nipsey was like, I will die in a burning building if it means I get as many people out as possible, right?
A fucking role model, man. A fucking role model. An absolute role model. From the statements I'm hearing.
Because it's very easy.
Role model.
It's one of the easiest things to do because all of your experience is relative to you, right? So you actually, as much as we may look down on it, you can't always fault someone who forgets where they came from. Especially if you came from a bad place. Sometimes you try to forget where you came from. You know? I used to think about that. I was like, damn, if I get rich enough, ooh, I won't be able to find this place on Google Maps. You know? But I mean it. It's like, that's an amazing thing. And the other amazing thing, and I'm not...
That's true as well. That is true as well. Like, you can't fault someone for also wanting to better their lives, for running away, and for trying to improve their own lives. You can't. You can't. Because you don't know what they've gone through. And sometimes people go through some awful shit, and they just want to get out of the building, you know? And they do. So I love that Josh Johnson looked at the both sides of that situation and was like, you also can't fault these people, you know? Because he, like, even, and then used himself as an example there. Josh Johnson, honestly, his storytelling is incredible. This guy, I love him.
I mean it. It's like, that's an amazing thing. And the other amazing thing, and I don't want this to come off the wrong way, but Nipsey did so much good. He did so many impactful things. He started so many programs, and he taught how to give back, and he taught people while he was still alive. It's like, I want to instruct Black Americans on how to build franchises for themselves, right?
So
that when we make the money, we'll know what to do with the money, right?
This guy sounds like the best dude ever.
With what I would consider very little money. Because yes, he was a big artist, and yes, he was a millionaire. But when he passed, when he was murdered, his net worth was about $8 million.
He was murdered?
And I think that people don't recognize how low that is in the grand scheme of how rich some of these artists are. We have artists that are billionaires, right? We have artists that are on track to be billionaires. And they don't do what he did with so much, with literally a fraction of what they had, right? And so I think it's important, in order to understand that pop-out concert, it's important to understand Nipsey and what he stood for and what he was trying to do. It's also important to at least understand the image and the legacy of Kobe, because Kobe was also this integral part of LA, integral part of sport, right? And no matter what
happened? What happened to Nipsey Hussle? You're telling me there was this man who gave every single ounce of himself back to his community, giving it to his community, helping people, helping kids, and like giving everything he had to other people, living a completely selfless life, and someone decided to kill that man. Why? I don't understand. What possible reason could anyone ever have for taking that man's life, man? I don't understand what happened.
But you think about the man himself, what he did in basketball, the passion that he had, his obsession with his passion is exactly what he wanted to impart on people for whatever it is that they do. Whatever it is you do. It doesn't have to be entertainment. It doesn't have to be a sport. It could just be the passion you have for being a father, right? If your obsession is being the best at whatever your passion is, you will make an impact, right? It's why to this day, and when I was little.
God, I love that. I love that.
If I have a ball of paper and a trash can is far enough away. Kobe. And if I make it, I lose my mind. You know? And so
I swear Josh has got tears in his eyes when he's explaining this, man. It's getting me all freaking emotional. Ah, my word. I love what he said there. I love what he said there. Like, about, like, if your passion, even if it's as simple as something as being, like, the best parent, you know? It's like, that's, people are you're gonna change, you're gonna affect people. I love that. I love that. God, man. This journey is turning out to be one of the best journeys ever I've done on this channel, man. I love that. I love that.
It's also important, no matter what you think of the man himself. Kendrick is someone that both of these individuals showed love to. And he's someone that has an obsession for his passion, which is music. And he's also someone that through his music, and at least in the intention of how he speaks in every interview and in everything that I've read about him, wants to give the same way that Nipsey gave, right? And sort of be a beacon for those same principles. So then we have something like the Pop-Out Concert, which is on Juneteenth, which is a liberation day for black people, right? And then they all come together. And when I say they, I mean every section, every known and probably unknown section of LA's gang members were in one place at the same time. That's crazy. They were all there. And everyone made it about the beef, and he played the diss tracks. Of course they do. But it was bigger than that. There was a 4-hour concert with artists from all over LA, all over West Coast, putting on, making their amazing music shown to the world. And there was even a little detail, like, I haven't verified this thing, but I heard about it, and I know of someone that, at least I think it happened to, where the concert tickets sold so fast that I guess they were checking zip codes. And if you didn't live in or around LA or the West Coast, they were refunding people so that people in LA could go to the concert, right? You know?
He said he doesn't know if it's verified. I want to say, as much as that would suck for, like, if I wanted to go, I kind of love that. I kind of love that. That felt like a show for LA, but for the world afterwards, you know? Like, the world can watch, but inside that was for LA. That was all these gang members coming together. That was a city united in one room, you know? That's what that was for. I love that. I love that.
Because the thing that Kendrick gives, at least to me, the thing that Nipsey gave, at least to me, and the thing that Kobe gives to a certain degree is an appreciation and a strengthening of community. Community is very important. And just because you're not a member of a particular community doesn't mean you can't help, doesn't mean you can't feel a part of it. But if you're in a community, it's important to give back. I think that's the thing I'm trying to establish, right? Is that if you're a part of a community, it's important to give back, right? Which is why, outside of any colorism, outside of any like part of the beef, the thing that bothered people, and the thing that I think gets missed.
Everything Josh says, I just agree with, man. I love this guy.
People want to be fans in whole of a person and their work, and it's just not possible. You know what I mean? Like it's not. You don't actually know the person, so maybe they made a good thing, and maybe you like it, and that can be enough, right? So this isn't to discredit the entirety of someone making work and then also having to back up that work with being an angel. But I think what bothers people is that community is sometimes equal to culture. So if you're not a member of a community and you take from the community, let's say you're a business that moves in and all you do is sit there and let the people spend money, and then you send that money away from the people who spent the money, that you put that. What place do you have here? We're trying to build something, and we're trying to build up. And you're just taking, right? And I understand business is business, but you're just taking. And I think that's what bothers a lot of artists about Drake.
Honestly, the way this man describes things is like so spot on. Because how many of you work for a company, right? And a position opens up. And this is sort of similar to what I said earlier, but like a position opens up at that company. And instead of like looking at all the people who work in that company, the people that have worked there for so long, who have like grinded and put everything they have into that company, suddenly they just hire some random outsider. Someone who's never been in the company, someone who maybe even has less experience than other people and just gives them that role. And you're just there like, I don't understand. Like, it's something as simple as that. As like, this is the bubble you are trying to grow and protect and look after. This is the bubble that grows you. So when you help things in the outside and bring things from the outside in and then help things from the outside, the bubble diminishes. And you're not helping it. And, you know, and you're taking out from it. I don't know if I didn't explain it anywhere near as good as Josh did, but hopefully, you know, a little bit. Hopefully a little bit.
It's not that he's light skinned, whatever. It's literally, I promise you, it's the fact that you're not actually trying to be or in the community, but you take, and what do you give? You're a billionaire unto yourself. Who else did you get out the house?
Preach.
Because Nipsey did so much, and he did it, and he left with a net worth of $8 million. How many hundreds of millions? How many hundreds of millions does Drake have? And I'm not telling anybody how to spend their money. I'm just saying that when we look at who's doing what and when they're doing it, you got a lot left.
It does seem like I'm an outsider in all of this, especially when it comes to Kendrick and Drake, and like especially with Drake. Like I know fuck all about Drake, right? Like outside of this beef, that's all my knowledge. I haven't listened to a single Drake song. I didn't listen to a single Kendrick song before we started this journey, and that's the truth of it. And I have to say, like, from what I've sort of seen, is Drake likes to use terms and use culture and use these different things when he thinks it can benefit him. He basically changes his his persona and his attitude and upbringing and everything like people change clothes. That's how it seems. Like, he opens up a closet, looks at all the things in there, and he'll pick whichever outfit benefits him the most that day. That's what he does. That's what it looks like. And he takes a little bit from each to benefit him in whatever way he can, you know? He's built this ammo belt and he just uses it for his own benefit. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's just what I've sort of gleaned from everything.
So when you have a concert like that, right? When you have a concert that's a
His
day of
gambling
liberation,
stuff
and you
bothered me as
grabbed
well.
all of these different sections out of LA. Like, you gotta understand what it is for some of these people to be in the same room. By any other metric of any other time, they would be in the streets killing each other. And now they're all inside in one place right now, right? So I think that's what got so many people so emotional about that moment when they were all on stage together dancing together, dancing the way, and I understand that there are lots of black people who don't have the take that I have about it, that think that any mention or any semblance of gang culture shouldn't be equated to any part of blackness, and I understand that, but I'm saying we are where we are, right?
I love
those are black people.
I love how Josh explains things. I love that this guy literally like makes sure that everyone's heard. He is so fucking good at that. Literally like saying, and I also understand that some people, when gang violence and gangs are mentioned, are going to be like turned off by it. And I also understand that point. That is a valid point. Just making sure that everyone's like feelings are heard. This guy is a legend.
And I understand that, but I'm saying we are where we are, right? Those are black people. And yes, they've been in situations and they've been in conditions where they are gang members. But if you have a day like the pop-out concert and you have another day like the pop-out concert, you have another day like the pop-out concert, all of a sudden, all this stuff, it just disintegrates. Do you know what I mean? It's all about a future, right? You had more gang members than any of, we do not know how many gang members were on that stage, but they were all dancing together. And sure, it was to call Drake a pedophile. I understand that. I understand.
Everyone was united by it.
But they had to dance to something, right? And so...
Oh, man. They had to play some song, you know? It
was actually fascinating to watch because there were clearly a lot of people on that stage that did not want to be on the camera. They didn't want to, you know what I mean? They didn't want to be on the Amazon... Because even if I think one of the reasons people are having trouble finding the words to describe what an impactful and beautiful moment it was is because to tell the whole of it is not only hard to do, it does feel a little like snitching. You know what I mean? Like if you're like he was there and he was there and he was there, and now all of a sudden the LAPD is like, tell me more. You know?
Like just. It's like snitching by accident, just your excitement. Man, I was hanging out with all my friends. I can't believe that guy showed up. And then they just say, wait a second, why are you writing this down? Wait a second, no, please. It's just complete by accident. I love the way you describe it. I love his facial expressions as well, man. The nod.
You know?
I love this.
And so
dude.
maybe for the good of unity.
I didn't even realize I was crying. I didn't even realize. Crying, laughing, and crying emotional here, man.
Maybe Drake should try one more time. Maybe he should.
Release one more track, Drake, go. Yeah, maybe, exactly. Drake doesn't realize how much he's helping people by getting shit on, you know? Like, that's what the people need. Like, it's maybe for the good of the culture. Maybe for the good of the community. Drake, you know what, Drake? You were close. You were close. There were, you know, it could have gone either way. It's 50-50. Now I've gone through the beef and I look back at it, even though we didn't react to one of your songs, and because pretty much everyone told me not to bother. Now I'm looking at it. I'm definitely not lying here. No, this is the 100% truth. Drake, if you're watching this, which of course you probably are, you're a huge fan of my channel. I know you are. Yeah, big fan. You know, who doesn't love watching a video where the title's a non-Drake fan? If you're watching this, I think I speak for a lot of people when I say it was very close. It was like 50-50, you know? Like, coin costs, who won? I don't know. It was close, man. Well, crazy. You know? I'm definitely not lying here. So, maybe try again. Maybe you'll win the second time, you know? If you were so close the first time, you know, a few more lines, maybe the second time you take it. Maybe. I reckon you do. Yeah. I'm definitely not saying this because it would be hilarious if you did, and then the whole community could once again unite behind, you know, shitting on you. No. I would never say that. Anyway. Man, this has been the best. This has been the absolute best. The absolute best. I honestly can't describe how much fun I've had doing this journey. And the journey is just beginning, man. We're just beginning. The whole point in this journey was to start a hip-hop journey, reacting to hip-hop music, hip-hop artists, like educating me on hip-hop. That is literally what we're doing here, right? The end of this journey, I feel like I should be able to sit down in a room and have a full-blown conversation with die-hard hip-hop fans, you know? That is the whole point in this journey. It's going to take years, right? And we've just begun it. You know, every Wednesday, every Saturday. That is the plan now. You're going to get reactions on this journey. And it started with Kendrick Lamar. That was the whole point in this journey. That is where people said it should start with. And they said, fuck it. If you're going to start with Kendrick Lamar, might as well start with the beef. And now we're going into Kendrick Lamar's albums. We're going to do Good Kid, Mad City. And we've just watched the Pop-Out concert. But I've also been introduced to Drake, for better or worse. And through this, I've also been introduced to people like Josh Johnson. You know? DJ Mustard, a name I didn't even know. And I'm getting introduced to more and more people, you know? More and more names from more and more people who are just absolutely melting my freaking heart, you know? Like, with literally the stories like from Nipsey Hussle, another name. I'd never heard of Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey Hussle? Never heard of that name. And like the story around everything I was hearing through Josh Johnson's video, and Josh Johnson, another person I'd never heard of before all of this. Now I love this guy. That's what I mean. And that was the point in this journey. The point in this journey was to take a guy like me who doesn't know anything about this, who wants to learn, who wants to know, and who is going to be completely transparent and honest with their reactions. Isn't going to like pre-watch or take notes or anything. Is just going to do it all with you guys. You guys are my guides. The comment section helps me when I miss something. You guys are driving this car. I'm just in the passenger seat. And literally having you guys is what's making this so special, is introducing names and stories. What I'm trying to say is this journey is just beginning, and already I feel like it is absolutely one of the best things I've done. And learning about all these names who I feel like deserve to be learned about, learning about your culture, which I need to be educated on and learn more about. It's amazing how much it goes hand in hand, and it's incredible. It's so incredible. It's just incredible. These stories, these people coming together and building each other up. And when things are explained to you on a level like Josh Johnson does, it really just highlights how you can like see something you didn't see before. Like I literally said, like with the building and the growing of the community from people within that community instead of taking from it, is something that I imagine so many people just might just do by joining a company and not even realizing or giving anything back to that. You know, on a little level that could work there too. And it's amazing how Josh explains that and showcases that, you know, taking things and using it to grow but never giving anything back. And again, it's something that's just highlighted. And then immediately when you hear it, you attach that to stories in your own life, and it makes sense and it all clicks, and it's just brilliant. That concert, the Pop-Out concert, honestly, one of, like, watching it, you could feel how big it was. But learning about it, you realize how big it was. You realize how monumental it was for a culture, for a city, for a state, for people, and for music. You realize just how big that show was. It's amazing. Like I said, it's weird how I would describe this whole diss track season as beautiful. But it has been. It's been beautiful. So like Josh Johnson said, maybe Drake try one more time. Maybe one more time. One more time. Oh, man. I can't wait to check out Good Kid, Mad City. Let me know how I should split up those album reactions. Are there certain songs that need to be reacted to together? Because I can't record it all in one bulk unless I did a live stream. And even then, I don't know what the copyright would be like around it. I don't know how that would work. So, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I think the best way would be to split it up, right? Like either do it in 2 or 3 parts. Let me know. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And thank you for joining me on this journey. I've had a really good time doing it so far, and we've only just begun. Anyway, as always, my friends, you right there will see me in the next video.